Hey, Cam, missed you last Sunday. Hope to see you this Sunday. One of my students there doing some improv comedy veteran in his own right in some ways. And we, holy crap. So, a couple of different things. Newsweek article. If you haven't seen the Newsweek article from this morning, Rachel Maddow kind of talked about it, teased it a little bit last night. Turns out Donald Trump's companies were doing business in Cuba, and long before the Obama lifted the embargo, and we're talking late 90s, he might be guilty of treason doing business in Cuba when you couldn't do like a single penny of business without getting approval from the government, right? So Donald Trump's down there in Cuba doing business, and his execs were saying, or his legal consultants, I forget exactly who said what when, but basically there's like a trail of people saying we need to hide this and do some things through the foundation to make this legal, or like seem legal. But it sounds like there may be actual criminal activity here. It's amazing. But on top, I know, I like when like everything pops like, that's the best part of Facebook Live. On top of that, Donald Trump and his team continue to spin his horrible performance Monday night, saying, all the instant polls where alt-right idiots can go on and say, like. He won like 80% in some of those. The immediate CNN poll, he lost. And according to the Survey Monkey poll, which people are saying nowadays is one of the best polls, the CNN poll, they said, was like 60% for Hillary, but it was heavy Democratic. And so even though they weighted to the actual electorate, it was so Democratic in the polling sample was probably unfair, and it's hard to really call that. But she clearly won it, but they said it was probably more like 50-something, not 60-something, right? So there's a poll out that came out today from Survey Monkey, NBC, but with Survey Monkey, but they have this huge sample size, like thousands and thousands and thousands, larger sample size than any other poll out there, because every time somebody does a Survey Monkey, they get their information, and they're able to get their information, find out their information. And according to their poll, 50% plus claimed Hillary Clinton won, 20-some% claim neither won, and then 21% claimed Donald Trump was the victor. And I'm guessing that's probably 20% of all the alt-right, right? The people that have been for Donald from the day one, the people that Donald gives a voice to that make it okay to be like non-PC, which means racist, sexist, homophobic, yada, 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 right? We can bash whoever we want to bash. We can fat shame women and fat slobs like me and be okay with it because Donald Trump's our guy. Donald Trump makes it okay to be an idiot or an asshole in public again. Like, it's all okay now to be arrogant and ignorant. Like, it's should be celebrated. Ignorance is now not bliss. Ignorance is like, yay, we're not elitist. We're dumbass shits. 21%. The other 1%, of course, is the 1% that really need Donald Trump to win, not Hillary, for their 401ks to stay in the billions, right? The people that, the classic Republican 1% types. And I never like the class warfare stuff, but it really gets ugly. But there is clearly that group of people that hoard the cash, hoard everything, pay people less. People like the Wells Fargo bankers that make $200 million in a year after firing 5,000 people for following their orders, right? All that stuff. So Donald Trump is going out everywhere, and as one real agent, as one poll after another comes out in favor of Hillary for the performances on Monday night, we could get into discussion about what you really thought about individual performances, but there's a couple things out there. But the more the polls come out against him, the real polls come out against him, not even close. Not even close. And one Republican strategist, people that are classic Republican strategist on all the channels, except for the pundits, right? Not talking about the pundits, but the actual people that have worked on George Bush's campaign and got him elected, or Romney's campaign and lost, or McCain's campaign. But people that were real Republican strategists are all saying it was the worst debate they've ever seen. So never mind the talking heads for Hillary. The people that want a Republican president, just not Donald, are all... my cat's watching me. It's kind of funny. They're all saying like it was the worst debate performance they've ever seen. It was so uneducated, so unprepared, right? Now Donald's saying, oh, he was prepared, but he was so distracted by what was going on, which is what happens in a debate. You're supposed to stay focused. If he can't stay focused for that 90 minutes, God help us if he's the president and goes into debates with Putin, right? God help us if he's in the room with Iran or anyone else. God help us if that's the best he can do. And Hillary really wasn't landing any punches. You can't say that Hillary went in and was like the attack dog. Hillary was kind of like the librarian she always is. There were a couple things. The thing with the Miss Universe, right? But again, most of the stuff that Hillary does, the so-called negative ads, they're not even out there saying, oh, he's this, he's that. They're just replaying his own words. This age of video and audio where people record stuff and somebody goes on and tweets like every 5 minutes something ridiculous. We have records of this stuff. We just have to cut and paste. It's like not even a difficult editing job. I'm not even saying that she's any better than him, but as a candidate, got to be the worst in history. There may be something there. There's a part of me that is begging. I've said this every night this week. I want him to come to the table and show me and prove to me, because I am still in many ways a closet Republican. I'm conservative fiscally. I really think I'm not in love with Hillary, but I watch Monday night and say, I'm sorry, no, I'm not. But I watch Hillary Monday night and said, she's president. They're equally, all this stuff that every Republican that's pro-Trump says, oh, the emails, the Monica Lewinsky killed the guy that committed suicide, or all the stuff, most of it's untrue. And the ones that haven't, in the court of public opinion, have yet to be proven true either. Like the commercials for Donald Trump that came out this week, it's a bunch of allegations, which may or may not be true. The stuff that they're saying about Donald Trump in the commercial, we know is true. There's no lies. The people from the alt-right, that 20%, think it's a lie because they think the media always lies, and anything that any Democrat says must be a lie, right? Anything that complete nut job from the right doesn't say, if it comes from anybody else, it's got to be a lie. It's got to be a lie. It's got to be a manipulation. It's got to be, no. The stuff, she's literally just putting, or her super PACs and her team are literally just taking clips of things he said and then maybe a couple pictures of some young gals that are affected by this kind of speech. Like, there's really no manipulation. We've seen manipulation. In the Romney campaign, there were things that were manipulative, right? And even in the John McCain campaign, although Sarah Palin, stuck her foot in enough asses and mouths, like she didn't have enough ass and mouth disease, foot and mouth disease to, I'm combining two horribly different things. But Donald Trump is in that Sarah Palin realm. But Sarah Palin just said things because she's legitimately alt-right and says some batshit crazy things that she believes with her heart. She honestly believes the things that she says, even if it's like extreme. As an idealistically centrist person, if anyone who thinks that's the norm, I come off liberal. I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. But all the stuff that comes out of Donald's mouth, it's not even, there's no conviction. It's not like he believes something other than the trade. We'll give him trade, right? We'll give him trade. But he has yet to say one thing that he's actually going to do, right? He says he's going to do something, but he hasn't said one thing about how that's going to happen. There's not a single position paper on anything. And the people in the heartland don't usually care about that kind of stuff. But, I swing to the left like nowadays, but I'm going to leave that alone. Ass and mouth disease, ass to mouth disease, foot and mouth disease, and there's just so much out there that Donald says. And even with the Miss Universe thing, so Hillary put it out there. Like everything Monday night, Hillary put a few things out there. She just kind of dropped a few things. And then he fell victim of his own narcissism every single time. He could not control himself, right? He just had to comment. And then the next morning he had to call into Fox and say, or talk. They didn't even bring it up in Fox and Friends, right? I can't wait till tomorrow, Saturday night. Saturday Night Live. It's not my favorite sketch, but after watching all, like the Fox and Friends sketch in Saturday Night Live is almost always the brown haired guy that Bobby Monahan plays, just a total idiot. But all three of them are just sitting on the couch like. They don't call him on it because it's the Fox's job to let him go, right? It's Fox's job to let him go and not question anything he does, because Fox is, the right arm of the right wing, not the Republicans, not so much, but the alt-right on TV, right? All the crazies that are too crazy for radio are now making O'Reilly at 8 o'clock seem like really normal. Last night, O'Reilly Factor. I think I talked about this. I think I watched O'Reilly for 5 minutes before coming on. Last night, O'Reilly Factor, I watched for 5 minutes to get the fair and balanced, right? Not that Fox is fair and balanced, but I watched too much MSNBC and realized I'm getting the left slant. So I need to, for my own centrist, idealistic views, to be balanced and fair, because Donald Trump has scared me so far left of center, just to balance out the incredibly far right Congress, and who knows what Donald Trump is, but other than a blabbering idiot. He's not an idiot, but there are a lot of really smart morons out there, right? It's not a matter of intelligence, it's more of a matter of ignorance. They're very intelligent, but clearly Donald Trump has relied on his natural talent of gab for a long time. It's been a long time since he's done any homework whatsoever. As I kept telling people today, I think Hillary was like the geeky high school debate gal on Monday. And Donald was like the jock that comes around and says, "Oh, what are you guys doing over there? A bunch of geeks. Oh, fucking tarded. Hey, look at my girlfriend. Oh, she gained 10 pounds. I can't date her anymore. Oh, she's a fat slob right now. She's like at least a 2. I got to get down to a 0. You got to get down to a 0 if you want to be with me." And that's pretty much the entire Trump campaign. The people, he says, the people are telling me how great I was last night. They were the people that were there at your rally. The nut jobs that show up at your rally love exactly what you did, because they love not being boggled down with facts. That these things are that people say that you said, that you claim are untrue. And then here's the video. They cut and paste the 6 tweets that you do on global warming over the last year, talking about what a hoax it is. And I'm sorry. I am an actor now, but I grew up a math and science guy. These things called facts are very important to me. As an actor, as a comedian, I'll say a lot of crazy shit to get a rise out of people. But at the end of the day, what's true is what I really care about. I'll say a lot of things just to get a laugh, but you're going to be president potentially, and it's more and more, I'm scared that it's looking like it's really going to happen. So what do we got down here? Hey, what's up, Paul? So that's kind of where we are. We got Donald Trump making excuses. Donald Trump, who claims to be the big winner. I'm sorry, sore losers are the ones that make excuses. The sore losers are the ones that go on and cry that the referee was unfair, that the other girl was being mean. Hillary was being mean. She was not being nice. If you think presenting facts is not being nice, and all the other shit you said is okay, you have no right to complain about anybody else being not nice, because you're the biggest douchebag in the history of politics. So if you have a problem with somebody calling you on your shit, you're in the wrong game. You're in the wrong job. You're used to being your real estate mogul, and if anybody tells you anything that is contradictory to what you think is true or calls you on your own shit, you could fire them, right? I don't know who you respect enough to listen to. Clearly, there's not a lot of them. Hey, what's up, Chris? Clearly, there's not a lot of people that you, Donald Trump, listen to, or listen to anybody that you respect enough to take what they say. Because clearly, and again, this is in the last month of you getting better because of Kelly and I always forget the guy from Breitbart, right? But they're reining you in a little bit, but then you go to your rallies and just let it all hang out. So anything you do for like 2 minutes in Mexico, and I'm sorry, he did not look presidential in Mexico. He looked stiff. Every time Donald Trump tries to not be himself, he looks stiff and he looks down energy. He doesn't know how to be energized and not be a douche. Like, it's like a lot of young actors. They know how to be over the top. Like, look, I'm being silly. I'm being over the top. But as soon as you ask them to kind of bring it in, they don't know how to keep the energy inside, right? I talk to my acting students like a rubber band. You got to be full of this potential energy. If you're kinetic and you're too kinetic, it's distracting. Like, right? But inside, you can have all that energy that's just ready to explode. But when you let it go, you lose them. When you let it go, you just lose everything. So you have all this energy inside. Donald Trump, when he isn't being a total douchebag, is low energy. He was really stiff.
I'm the only one commenting, you're not reading.
I'm sorry. No, let it hang out. Oh, I know. Well, you're typing and you're kind of calling me on my funny things. I like it. Donald Trump is. What was I going to say? You distracted me. I forgot what I was going to say.
Because you're not reading my comments.
I'm trying to talk. I actually had a stream of thought.
Sorry.
He can't take any type of criticism. Oh, Donald Trump, when he entered the debate Monday night, had like the Frankenstein arms. It was like down, like Lurch. He had the gangly. He was so stiff. He didn't have any energy. He was so afraid to make a move that might look aggressive towards the tiny little Hillary. Hey, who's that? Mac. Hey, what's up, Mac? Is that my niece, Mac? Is my niece on Facebook? Is that Max Mackenzie? Mac, who is that? Which Mac is that? Is that my niece? If that's my niece, I gotta stop using certain words. I don't think that's Max Stir. Who is that? I can't tell. I can't check. Like, I'm not on a computer. I'm on this iPad.
What's the comment?
Oh, Kevin. Oh, yeah. Duh. Sorry. How you doing? I was afraid it was my niece, Mac, who is now popping up in different social medias. Yeah, Kevin McDonald. And popping up in different social medias. Then all of a sudden, I realized, oh, crap. My 10-year-old niece, 11-year-old niece now, right? She just turned 11? Is following me on Vine. And some of my Vines aren't exactly... I know I do this thing called Improv for Kids. I perform at kids' schools, and today we had 64 high school girls from Maryland, and I forget sometimes that people know me as a children's entertainer of sorts, and my comedy, I also do colleges and corporate events and adult shows at the clubs, and doing Vines where I'm running around saying stupid things. Oh no! Yeah, I feel like the connection today is like it's very stop and start, like not good. Yeah, so Donald Trump. I keep repeating this every night just because I sound like a bleeding heart liberal compared to the alt right. I know, but I'm not. I'm leaning left more than ever. I'm so open-minded. As most people will tell me, I sound like a libertarian if you really put all the chips in a row. But most libertarians are batshit crazy. So it's like, they're the rebellious wing of the Republican Party. So like they're screaming to bring, they're more of a section of the Republican Party, and I probably do align with them on paper. But Gary Johnson, oh my God, the other guy, Ward, I think his name is, the other guy should be the lead. But Gary Johnson won in the primary. But the other guy actually knows what happened on on MSNBC Hardball last night at the college, and couldn't think of a single world leader that he respected. And you know what? I think anyone here, I don't know if anyone here could say off the top of their heads, they may be a world leader type person. When I watched that, I had a brain fart. And the one I thought was Angela Merkel too, right? But, he wanted to say Vicente Fox, only because most of the leaders that we know are the ones that we don't respect. Like, we know all the bad guys. It's like a lot of movies. We always remember the bad guy's name. We always remember the people that slight us, right? We don't always remember the good guys, in real life. We remember the people that treat us like shit because they just impress upon us in the worst way. It's human nature. So I give him some rope to hang himself with, but he just seems like such a dope, and I believe he means well, but at this point he is a spoiler. He's not a legitimate option, and because the night before I kept saying maybe what I should do is come on here, Justin Trudeau, although Trudeau's a schmuck. Sorry, Canada. He's hot. He's a schmuck. Did you ever see the boxing match where he's fighting a guy? No, it was for charity, but clearly it was a fixed fight. I mean, the guy, I don't know. He's a nice guy, but he's like, he's like a Ivy League preppy guy. Not a bad guy, but like geeky cute, geeky smart, but there's a bit of a schmuck quality there, and not as bad as Trump, but Gary Trudeau